So today I'm going to be going over our very first heroic Kel'Thuzad kill. Once again, I'm not going to be explaining all the mechanics and what they do, but more of how we chose to deal with the mechanics of the fight. So the first decision we have to make as a raid squad is who's going to go into the factory phase and who's going to stay up to deal with the ads. What we chose to do was send most of our melee downstairs and then one healer, and have most of the ranged players upstairs, the rest of the healers, and obviously the tanks. Melee just have an easier time down there, it seems. You know, it's a very high movement phase of the fight. The downside to it is when you're upstairs, you still have to get kicks, and obviously most ranged players have long kicks, so that can make it a little more challenging. And the other thing about the fight that I think a lot of squads get kind of tripped up on is over microing players in terms of their positioning, in terms of, you know, when the 4 or 5 tank ads spawn, who's going to get what kicks. What I told everyone in the raid team is as soon as the tank ads spawn, you just find an ad and kick it. That's your job. Ready for kicks. So you can hear the raid call, just be ready for kicks. Everyone just goes and finds an ad, tries to get a kick on it. And the other thing about our strat when we decided to do is that we decided to say fuck his mana. Like, we don't really care when we actually push him. But I think you should be centering your push timings around these tank ads and either wait for the next one to spawn or you try to push before he has a tank ad coming out. So in this phase, I think we get 2 rounds of tank ads, and then we decide to push. Here for kicks. And we centered all of our healing CDs around spikes. Soak this on Luton. So for the Frostbass soaks, what we decided to do is I just told players who's soaking. So we had like our hunters, we had our druids, you know, our paladin and windwalker monk just soak the Frostbass every time. Then we'd also have a mass as well for safety in case they couldn't use their class ability to get out. Flashback, you ready? So what's really annoying about this phase is that these 4 ads can spawn in a random order, right? In terms of, it could be Abomination over here, Soul Reaver's gonna be different spots. So for tanking, I always said I'll tank the most right Abomination. The other tank set will grab the most left Abomination. For kicks, we had like a loose order for the Reavers, but if one gets a cast off, it's not a big deal. So you can kind of hear like the ranged players communicating like who's gonna kick what or upstairs.
I got second X.
The other piece is that down the factory phase, we had our shaman call out 10 seconds before they come up. When she thought it was about 10 seconds. And upstairs, we tried our best not to kill anything before they gave us that warning. So when she said 10, that means we actually execute these mobs before that. If you kill them up, obviously it's going to res and come back to life. And it's just a rinse and repeat of that process, but you get more spikes, you get more devoted. Here for kicks. Find that, kick it. So what we said about these silence circles was that I didn't really care where they went, they just all had to be stacked on something.
Ready to finish up this one, the silence, you stack these.
That was like the biggest deal for us. And then for the spikes in this phase, the first set we had all 3 players drop at the same location, and the second set we had the orange spike go alone, and then the 2 other spikes stay together. In terms of like boss positioning, it really didn't matter like where the boss is in this phase, in my opinion. It's just find a safe spot. Since we don't care about his mana, we're not like, you know, pushing him when he's, you know, low or high. We're just gonna get these ice patches throughout the phase.
range you guys are on the spikes full time. Alright, 2, 1, you ready?
As you can see, if all the devoted are relatively in the same spot, it's a lot easier to control them.
Alright, ready for kicks. Find the nut.
So these spikes we do a 2-1, right?
Yep, this next spike, I think orange still is there for the 3, so if you're marked with orange, you're fucking off.
Yeah, so next set we do a
You
2 on
fuck off,
split.
the other 2 get together.
Just makes it a little bit easier healing wise.
Loader, get me close. Alright, focus on the 2 together, guys. Alright, regrouped, we're exploding. Alright, get ready for tank guide. Alright, we need to finish off the spike. Get kicks. Stop boss jam.
We got really lucky here with the immunity.
EV's gonna block. Yeah, just focus devoted.
Yeah, we're just
Boss.
finishing devoted while we're cleaving down boss here. We have plenty of time for the next tank mechanic
job,
comes
guys.
up.
Good job.
Yeah, super fucking clean push on that time.
Right.
Got second right.
Really watch the reverse so we got close spawns.
Yeah, so
Got second left.
you can see my call out there. If we got close spawns on the Reavers, meaning like orange was kind of like our home base. If the Reavers spawned really close, they were kind of too easy to kill before the factory was going to be 10 seconds away. So I made the call out, just be a little careful.
You just want me to hold my 2s instead?
Even if one dies too fast, it's not the biggest deal in the world.
It's still a little late, maybe. We should be fine.
So we get the 10 call, that means we can kill.
Let's chunk us when we can. Frozen now.
So in this phase, I think this is the hardest phase of the fight. It's where you have the most spikes, you have the most devoted. Our rule of thumb here was if there are 4 players chosen for the spikes, whoever got the orange marker is just going to go off by themselves. And we'll do the 3 at once and the 1.
Kicks. Go find an ad. Sciences get grouped.
Yep, so ideally all the sciences get together.
Like group up with these guys. Group up.
So the first spike in this phase was only 3 players. So they just grouped up with them. We put the
All the
boss
way
to a
in the
safe
other
spot.
Right here.
You can hear some like pretty messy comps here. So what happens is the tank said where they're taking the boss, and you can hear raiders say like, "Oh, like over here is safe," but the call is already made, even if it's not efficient, right? You just have to listen.
I mean, it's safe.
Like
No,
the boss
it's
is
good.
already over.
Let's go.
Calls made. Range you guys on the spikes.
It's kind of hard for us to reach them.
Yeah, we can't reach him.
One's
You're
about to blow
fine,
up.
you're fine. Just respect.
So what this led to was we killed 1 spike,
Right, orange and purple delayed.
and then the
Use
other
my
2 were
personal
a little
reaction
bit delayed.
dots here. Just react. Good. 4 seconds left on the dot. Get ready for kicks. Now you're finding it out.
So after these kicks, the next part of the fight I think is the hardest part of the fight. It is where you're going to get 4 spikes. You're going to get a frost blast and 2 tank hats. So what we said is whoever got that frost blast, they just go out and die every single time. Even if we don't have a res, it doesn't matter. They just need to die because we can't
As you're
sustain rate
kicking it.
damage.
Alright, this next set we'll have 4. Remember, orange fucks off.
So you see lots of circles, which means lots of devoted.
The soak also dies or gets sacked.
Yep. Orange token, get up.
So orange player leaves, good. Rest of them are together.
Good.
Ideally,
Guys, we cannot get.
Ideally, what you want is like pull the boss into position where there's like enough space in between the devoted and the boss, so you can have like easy CCs, so that the ranged players can work on them. Here, 2 players get hit by a spike. You can see my disappointment.
If I fucking throw these.
Frack, I'm gonna VE this one.
Yeah, you guys are on the spikes.
Stack up.
Yep, 2, 1. Go for kicks.
So kicks are gonna happen, and a soak.
Find it, I'd kick it.
So in my mind, it's not even necessarily the damage from the soak that you have to worry about. It's that there are multiple ads to kick. There'll be some devoted out. It just spatially it gives you so much more room if a bunch of players don't have to stack. Everyone can just be focused on kicks, because that is what's going to wipe you more than taking the frost blast damage.
Tank ads are what matters right now. You're sacking that person.
Yeah, so they just die.
You're gonna be down a healer. Just feel like it. It should be fine. Good. You're on devoted now. And cleave KT. Orange is dying.
I made a pretty bad call here, and you'll see how it plays out, and it causes multiple players to die. So, soul fracture is happening in 10 seconds. We try to push the boss to beat the soul fracture, but what we should have done is just played it safe and done the soul fracture, then push boss. Because basically what this created was an area where a lot of shit's happening, right? You can see all the ads out, you can see, boss is low, we're gonna have a bunch of kicks, and then we're gonna have to have half the raid go down to where upstairs is left with these tank ads to kick, these banshees that need to be kicked, and the abominations that need to be tanked. And it just creates chaos. We either should have just hard committed to boss more, build a more efficient amount of damage, or waited. But we kind of chose the worst.
Let's be on KT.
So we try to burn, but it's obviously not going to happen. It's close, but
I think we might beat these.
since we get these silences, we get the tank ads as he's dying.
I'm not going up for this one,
Let's stay
right?
down. Just be on tank ads if you're upstairs right now.
You're going to hear comms turn to shit real fast, which is,
Yeah, kicks upstairs,
bad.
kicks upstairs.
Watch the far one.
Yep.
I got the far soul reaver.
I don't have kick for Reaper.
There's a lot
I don't
of
either.
them over there, be careful.
Is someone range kick upstairs? Server?
I don't have it.
It's good. Oh, no.
We'll be up in a second. So.
I'll get the second one.
So you can see multiple people die. Comms are just a mess. Players are calling I don't have a kick. They're trying to finish on tank ads. We're trying to get the abominations together. Yeah, it was sloppy.
On that far one.
There's lots of clamp to do upstairs. We can still do this, guys.
Watch that soul reaper's gonna die.
It's fine. They'll be up soon.
I got the second on the one. I got this next one, the one that's up.
Okay, when players get res by the boss, you guys focus those players.
Yeah, so anytime a player dies, they get rezzed, and they're the biggest priority, right? Because they can CC the raid, they can fear the raids, they're just gonna do bad shit. So they should be priority, but this last phase is honestly just such a big burn.
Need to focus on the save bombs.
Yeah, pot if you haven't. Just move with me, move with the boss.
So we lost.
The brand.
I think on our first kill, we potted the third time KT was alive, so I made the call, pot if you haven't, because the player missed it. But
Third ice.
and every frost blast in this phase, we just decided to kill.
I want Tremors down once they get resed. Oh, go out and die double.
Which I think we lose 3 healers to it.
We have 10 seconds on ours. We can
You
go
res a
in one.
DPS, you res frack.
Okay. Okay.
When you get a Warlock Gate across, I'll tell you guys when to take it. Warlock needs to do it.
Yeah. So I made 2 calls there. The first one is, someone asked, we have reds, who do you want up? I say DPS. Even though we're down 3 healers, the damage is way more relevant in this phase than the healing. Because there's no way, honestly, when this fight's late with this many people dead, you're going to have the players casting on us, you're going to have the ads casting on us, and actually healer's not going to save the day, but being able to burn the boss will. I also call for a Warlock Gate to go across the ice, just in case we get bad ice RNG here, and we have to go to the other side of the room to live. But if you
Get out of Toggo, so that's speak offy.
so Toggo just
That's
dies
the
with it.
clear spot.
Just for future, just for future. Alright, try to get kicks and stuns on that.
Yeah, you can see as you're casting a container roots.
Kick
you
Chevy,
can see,
somebody watch that reaver way back there.
Just keep burning it.
you can see the far banshee, right? And the comms someone watch it, but it's fucking impossible to kick that banshee. With where we're positioned right now, you absolutely just have to kill the boss here or you die. You can't micro kicks at all.
I got second reaver. Oh no, I had to get
Scout?
all
Run
the
out, run out.
Just burn, that's the only thing that matters. Live and burn.
Yeah, so you just use everything to live and hope it
Every
goes.
personal to live. Pod if you haven't. Like everyone health pod right now. Get out mirror.
Okay.
Good job.
Nice job.
Cool. So that was the kill. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think what's really important to this fight is not necessarily microing players in terms of like the interrupts and things like that, but more of everyone just needs to know the priority of what's happening, right? So spikes are out, devote are out, you have to get tank kicks, you know, like what's the order of operations. I think the other big skill curve for this boss is going to be your healing. And, you know, if you have to kill 2 spikes, then 1 spike, and then 1 spike, that's totally fine, or 2 spikes and 2 spikes, you know, just do what's best for your healers. You can see all of our healing CDs down the right, but really fun boss. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment or to message me. I'll also put my Twitch down in the description. Thank you.